and welcome all of you to my YouTube channel Animals and Pets with Partha. Today I'm going to draw a comparison of the times we spent in the dog world 50 years, say from the early part of the 1970s to today. The Indian dog world has undergone a sea change. A world in front of us, in fact, everything has undergone a sea change. So the dog world isn't any different. In those days, money wasn't as easy as today, and imports were hard to come by. But then, whatever import people did, they did it with lot of research, and the dogs that came in at that time produced outstanding dogs. They were used extensively and into different bitches, and so that gave an opportunity, or so that the dog's potential was exploited to the maximum. I remember in those days when imports came in, maybe after a year or so, if that dog was really good, it would stop winning because it would start getting beaten by its own children. That really happened to my breeding also. I have been breeding several breeds of dogs, and of course, all my dogs were house pets. I kept them; they were not kennel dogs. They lived with me in my house, my paternal house, which was quite big in the city of Calcutta. And among the several breeds, as you may know, I was deeply involved with the Dachshunds many years back in the later part of the 70s. When I imported Dachshund, not really imported, I bought a Dachshund from Mr. N.E. Ukaboy from Bombay, who had got his stock from Mr. Rangarajan of Chennai. And the stock, of course, was excellent. It came from the best of English bloodline, dogs like Langmark Sipperstein, dogs like Rhinefield's Annemarie, and there were a lot of Rhinefield's dogs behind. Well, he had taken a pair, and I guess they were, in fact, littermates. And then what happened was the pair bred, and he sold me a puppy, which was named Lady Supreme of Kushlok, because Kushlok was the the kennel name of Mr. N.E. Ukaboy, a dear friend of mine from Mumbai. And then that started my journey in the world of Dachshunds. Well, let me just tell you, before I brought in Lady Supreme of Kushlok, the price of standard smooth Dachshunds in this city was only 125. And the main person who was selling Dachshunds at that time was Mr. Ramchand De, a very renowned, late Ramchand De was a very renowned dog trainer, and he worked for the Calcutta police in the dog squad in his last days before he retired. Well, I actually, my mentor, as you know, was Mr. R.P. Mitter, a person very experienced in the dog world, who was born in the year 1900, and I met him when he was 75. That means 1975 was the year when I came in touch with him, and 1985 he passed away. Well, this 10 years has been a great education for me. In those days, knowledge was not easy. Here now you can just do this artificial intelligence. You have Google. You just ask any question and it's all answered. So anything that you really want to know, you can really do it on the internet. So that wasn't available in those days. And I remember I had to travel maybe an hour in the morning to spend some time with my mentor, Mr. R.P. Mitter, who was a retired man. And I was most welcome to visit him every day. And not only did I visit him once a day and, In fact, afternoon when he went up for lunch and then he had a rest, a nap, I would come home and then I would again, in the late evening, I would again take the bus because I never had much money in those days. I couldn't afford a taxi or something, or didn't have a vehicle in the early stages until I bought my first two-wheeler and things started changing, whatever. So I used to go to him again in the evening, and I would take the last bus, which was maybe quarter to 12 from what do you call Bhavanipur, or and then from there I would take that last bus home. So that was my routine for several years at a stage, because there was no other way that you could access knowledge unless you bought lots and lots of books and you read. But that doesn't really. If you have a teacher who actually knows the subject, and then you read, and then you clarify with him, and then you ask him what is right and what is wrong. So he was sort of a living encyclopedia of dogs. His knowledge in dogs was unfathomable. He started his career in the dog world in the British era. In the British era, only some elite Bengali families, Indian families, or even the Rajas and the Maharajas, they were the people who were allowed to participate or be a part of the dog world. And he had become a judge in the British era. So I would go to him, and he would answer all my questions. And in fact, of course, he never spoke too much. But then I would keep telling him, and then he would say yes or no, this is right or that is wrong. They were just maybe single word answers, but it meant a lot to me. So anyway, I asked my mentor, RP Mitter, that I want to breed Dachshunds. He told me that, listen, Dachshunds in those days, he said, it has a love and hate relationship. Some people, a lot of people wouldn't like it as a pet. In fact, because it's short and long and things like that. It's not like a normal looking dog which you see, and then, but then people who have kept Dachshunds, they would love to have one. So he said, you bring, but not that you're going to be successful. People may not be buying puppies from you. So anyway, in those days, it was winning that mattered. And when he said the breed was an excellent breed, an excellent character, and things like that, though it was a hound, so he explained everything about the hound. So these were moments that I cherish. And then Lady Supreme of Kuchlok brought me a lot of glory. They and bred numerous champions out of the dog. In fact, as I have mentioned some time back, from a litter of 9 puppies born to Sanskritis Black Star, owned by Mr. Tyagarajan of Hindustan Times, Delhi. I had traveled to Delhi to have it mated. I had a litter of 9 puppies, and 8 were shown, 8 became champions. And not only that, my another mentor, Mr. J.B. Mukherjee, late Mr. J.B. Mukherjee, he had imported a dog called American Champion Legibak Dark Star Umar from the Dachshund Association of Long Island. He was a winner there. He was the best in show winner, that Dachshund. But then, that Sanskrit's Black Star produced such a great litter, which was out of American Champion Moffett's jacket, that 5 of my males, under the sort of judging of Mr. Marius Powin from UK, stood 1 to 5, and this American champion stood in number 6. In those days, there were no champion class. Well, things have changed now. Now it's so much of money in this game, and people just, who cares? Nobody wants to breed. It's better you import a dog and, spend a lot of money in buying it, maybe 10 lakhs, 20 lakhs, 30 lakhs, 40 lakhs, 50 lakhs. This is nothing new. Means if people listening to me may be shocked that dogs cost that much. Yes, these winning dogs are imported. And now see, a rich man will not want his dog to lose to people who are not that rich and owns dogs are in the dog cage. So he will ensure that their dog wins. So what has happened in this sort of bargain, that the lot of rich people started winning with imported dogs. They imported dogs which were maybe only one in the breed in the country, maybe, hardly any. So there was no opportunity for breeding from them because there were no bitches. So they would get this imported dog and they would get imported handlers, and and they assure that they have to win. So how did they assure that? So the syndicate, as you know, was very quick to assess the situation, and he started minting money. He not only started charging a huge amount for making dogs win, and surely the rich people who spend 50 lakhs on a dog, they wouldn't mind spending a few lakhs to win at dog shows. So every year they had a budget 10, 20, 30 lakhs they would spend and travel around the country and win most of the shows. So what has happened is our breeders fell from grace. Our breeders, who were at that time doing a great job in breeding super dogs, their dogs stopped winning. There were times when we said that, so much of imported dogs are winning, we must see that Indian dogs, get the best exposure. So we tried to formulate rules and things like that. But the syndicate would have nothing to do with it. So what happened was, also he started fixing all the judges. Most of the judges were all had to fall to his feet to get their licenses. So whether they were qualified, whether they were, whether they deserved or doesn't deserve, the only deserving factor was money. So in exchange of money, a lot of judges started, getting their license. And then, of course, there are some outstanding judges in our country who have made a name for themselves, not only here, but across the globe. But then many have actually, they had to please the syndicate to get the licenses. Then what happened is, all the dog shows started getting fixed. So everybody realized that, raising money for dog shows was a big pain for the organizers. And I will tell you, in the year 1984, when I got W.G. Spilstead and I was the founder secretary of the Calcutta Canine Club, which was just started that year, and we had zero funds, my committee members, because I was the founder secretary, said I wanted a really top world-class judge to begin with. So I had zeroed down to Mr. W.G. Spilstead from Australia, who is world-renowned, and he was a truly international, a great judge, a great personality. So I wanted to invite him. So my committee just gave me a condition: you have to raise the money because you have to pay the airfares and the accommodation and things like that. So I had to run with my two-wheeler I had at that time, little scooty, what do you call it today, and I went beg, borrow from friends, dog lovers, everyone for advertisement in the souvenir. And so that was the way you could raise the money. But finally, it all went well, and Mr. W.G. Spilstead did come to India, did come to judge in India for the first time, and judged at the Calcutta Canine Club inaugural dog shows, of which I was the founder honorary secretary. Well, that started a great opening for me. I came to know a really great personality, a great judge, and then things started rolling. Well, nowadays it's not so. You don't have to raise the money. Sponsors come to you. They have their dogs. They just tell you, we just put up our dogs. You get judges, or we get you judges. Those judges will know what to do. They will come and they will all the expenses are ours. We sponsor the money. Also some expenses towards the running of the decor and everything, and the evening parties and the booze and everything we sponsor. But then in exchange, we need to win. So the organizers found it easy, and they became prey to this easy life. So most of the dog shows in this country, barring a few, who like to sort of bring in renowned judges, respectable judges, who wouldn't sort of succumb to such such temptations of putting up dogs just for an assignment to come to this country. There are most, and then not only does India have a lot of judges already, but all around the world and in Asia and everywhere, there is an influx of a huge number of judges. Well, I am not, I wouldn't like to say, draw a comparison of who is good and who is bad. But I will tell you, amongst the judges, you have excellent judges, you have very good judges, you have good judges. Then you have inconsistent judges. Then you have not so good judges. So that is there in every field. You have good and the bad. And what has happened is, all these now there's a competition for how to get invited to these dog shows. Now see, they have a nexus. Now they are a group. Now you invite a judge and he puts up dogs that you tell him. Then he has a sort of a company of judges. He knows they would also do the same thing and oblige. So what has happened is, they go back, send some more. They go back, send some more. So in the bargain, most of the judges who come to this country, they already know what to do, because unless they put up those dogs, the dog show cannot survive or cannot actually put up the show. There wouldn't be a show, because there's so much of money that is required to run a dog show. Well, this is the present situation, and of course, the main person who is involved and who for the destruction of our dog game, and there is no respect, because every judge that comes or every show that goes, people are of the opinion that the judges are all fixed. So in those days when we judged, there was so much of respect towards the judge. Means it was, people would wait, and people would be so they would like to wanted to know about dogs, why their dogs won, why their dogs lost, what they should do to better dogs. Is it really a show prospect dog? Does it have a great future? Or they should get another show dog? Means, well, so that was the situation then. But here, nobody will come to you, because if you put up their dogs, you are a great judge, and they will have your photographs splashed all across the social media, which with the rich people in our dog game, a lot of rich people control. And not only that, they have professional photographers, and they have who will glorify your dog and things like that. And not only that, before the dog comes to this country, it's all advertised, and the pictures come in, the multi-country champion, 8 countries, 7 countries, 6 countries, all that. People here, so they realize that whatever they breed, it's not going to win actually. It's not going to really win against the competition that is coming in, because the main competition is the money. The money is the main competition. Because once you get a dog for 40 lakhs or 50 lakhs or 30 lakhs, then you don't want that dog to win or lose to anybody, any Tom, Dick or Harry's dogs. So they make sure that their dog wins. So for that, they have made now syndicates who run dog shows across the country. They have connections with all other like-minded organizers who are the creation of the syndicate, who's actually taking the money, who's actually made crores from this game. And so there is no way that the top, even if you breed outstanding dogs, it's not going to win at dog shows or big awards at least. A few will, because they only 4, 5 or 6 people import and fix the shows. So not everybody can fix the show. So there are opportunities where a little bit of winning is done by Bred in India dogs, but that is but it's not right, because the breeders have died down. They don't get money for their breeding here, because people say, well, even if I buy, even if it's a show dog or whatever that the breeders would claim, it's actually not going to win. And initially they were paying big money, but now this year, people have realized, and they only want to pay pet price, maybe a little better for a little more better upbringing and more healthier puppies. They might volunteer to pay a little extra, but that's it. But they don't take that bullshit that your dog is going to win. The dog will only win if it is blessed by the syndicate and his psychopaths. With these words, I end today. My video is getting long. I'll bring you a lot of new stories on topics that is of importance, and will expose the sort of the dog game to the dog lovers of this country. I wish that we are able to improve on what we are. There is matters are already in court, and we expect a new committee to take over and unite the dog world, which is fragmented into many clubs, and and we should unite everybody under one roof and make our dog game a glorious dog game, and go back to the glorious days of which I had seen some 50 years back. Thank you, and we'll be back shortly.